Well, hello, my loves. Happy Sunday to you. Look at this. This is everything happiness to me. So today I'm starting on an 8x10 MDF board and I am using some of my most favorite papers. I have collected all kinds of fun vintage papers and I'm using some jelly prints, and I won't use absolutely everything, but pretty close. I almost used everything. So now I have put everything down with my matte medium, and I am now going back over everything with this wonderful vintage wallpaper stencil. I'm using titanium white, just acrylic paint, a medium body paint, and I'm putting that down, and I'm now coming back and wiping it off. I want it to be soft, and it was really bright. And so once I put it all down, I kind of dried it a little bit and then sprayed it with some water and pulled that back so that it was a little bit softer. And I couldn't pull it back quite as much as I wanted to, which actually ended up working out to the benefit, because once I put the wash over it with the I'm using Titan Buff right now, fluid acrylic. I put that wash over it, and then I put a little bit of yellow oxide to give it kind of an antique feel. It was just perfect. So I'm glad that it didn't wipe away too much. But so I'm just washing over that. I'm not using any water. I'm just using a paper towel and just kind of roughly placing that over my stenciled image and my papers, and just kind of pushing everything back and really trying to neutralize it. Spritzing some water on it to give it kind of a speckled effect. And I just loved how it turned out. I love the kind of marbling with the yellow oxide and the Titan Buff. So now I'm just playing, just simply playing. I grabbed just some carbon black medium body paint and just made some doodles here and there, and just I wasn't exactly sure yet where everything was going to go or what was happening, but I just wanted to have fun. And so I just made my little doodle designs here, kind of representing earth and sky. Sprayed some water on it, put my paper towel down. This is one of my favorite techniques. I love using this technique to get some really good speckles. Pull up that paint, and then I just actually spritzed it some more with some water and just kind of let it bleed out a little bit, kind of rubbed it with my finger to soften the edges, and it was perfect. Look at those yummy drips. Love it. So now I'm adding the rest of the elements, and it's not typical for me to put a bunch of stuff of collage on top, but this is what I was feeling today, and I had this quote in mind, and I knew once I started getting the layers together, I knew exactly where I wanted it to go. And those are all vintage wallpapers and jelly print prints. And I just cut some circles out, and I'm using some vintage rulers, and it just makes me so happy. All of the yummy papers. So this is my Daisy 1 and 2 stencil that I'll be using, and just some regular medium body titanium white paint. All of the supplies will be listed on the blog, and you can check that out there, as well as links to the supplies that I used. And the link for the blog is down below in the YouTube description. I struggled with which flower. I wanted to use the big one so bad, but I just didn't have enough room, so I went with the smaller one. So I was struggling a little bit with placement there. Okay, so now I have these brushes that I shared a couple weeks ago. They are makeup brushes, and I knew that I was going to be able to use them for something, and I wasn't sure. But they work so beautifully with the stencils and your ink stamp pads. This is an archival ink stamp pad, but the possibilities, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. It just makes me happy. And I am stenciling on tissue paper. And I love this technique. It makes a seamless, you can put down your words, stencil out your words, and if you make a mistake, it's not on your piece. And I love that. I love having that freedom. So I stenciled the words out and then put some more vintage wallpapers down for the centers of the daisies. and then just put my words down with matte medium. This is Deco Art matte medium. Words and wings and everything down with matte medium. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the brushes that I used and all of the goodies that I used at the end of the video. So now I got a whole set of these Soho chalk pastels, and they are fabulous for the price. They were $39. Look at the color selection. Just that's a happy heart right there with all those colors. Oh my goodness. And again, I'm going to talk about these at the end. I'm going to do a little comparison at the end of the video as well with Stenciling chalk pastels. But I'm just adding highlights and just different spots here and there, adding some color. And I love using chalk pastels because it's such an easy way to get additional color without committing to it. So if you don't like it, you can just wipe it up. And then, of course, you have to seal it with a fixative at the end, and I use Spectrafix. But it's such a fun way to get additional color and depth in your pieces and add some fun, some scribbles, some shading. They're just wonderful. And so I'm pulling from the greens in the butterfly wings and the turquoise in the butterfly wings to kind of pull everything together. You can see that I brought it all the way up to the top and all the way down to the bottom, those colors that are in the wings of the butterfly, to make the piece cohesive and to move the eye around the piece. I'm just adding some additional marks and shading with my charcoal pencil, further defining those petals, and I'm really light and sketchy. I didn't go as dark as I typically do when I'm doing some charcoal shading, because I really wanted it to be soft and kind of whimsical, and I really wanted the design of the daisies to stand out, and I didn't want to take away from any of the chalk pastels color that I put down. So I'm really light on my shading on this piece, and I love how it turned out. I'm just going to be putting some finishing touches on here, some sprinkles, some additional doodles. This is my Stars and Hearts stencil, and again I'm using my brush and my stamp pad again, and I cannot wait to experiment some more with the details that I'll be able to get with this, with the inks and the brushes. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, subscribe and give me a like. Any questions or comments, I do my best to try and get back to you. And I hope you stick around for the conversation at the end, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Hello, lovies. Happy Sunday to you. I'm so glad to be here with you today. And oh my goodness, this is just so good. There's so many things that are good about this. I just love all the layers and everything. And we'll talk about the meaning and all that stuff in just a minute. But oh gosh, I used just so many fun favorite things. But real quick, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. I'm just going to set that right there. So a couple of weeks ago, I said I found these these are actually makeup brushes, and that I'd seen a couple of artists using them in their work, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work for me. But so as you saw me today, I used my inks with them, and I don't have a lot, and I know a ton of you do, but oh my gosh, so it just works so well. And you can get dark and crisp, and then there's this little tiny one. So like if you're doing letters, small little letters, sometimes with the blending tool it's so big that you can't get exactly what you want. And It just works so well. And I'm like, oh, the possibilities. For one, for stencils, because like colors and things, I know that you guys have a ton more things that you can use your stamp pads for. I don't have a ton, but I thought that I would just show you. Let me grab a spot here. How pretty and detailed. So all your stencils, look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just want to try all kinds of new things now. The details that you can get in your stencils. Woo! Happy day, happy day. Okay, so I'm just sharing in my joy right now. So these, I think I had a link to them, but I'll have another link to them on the blog if you're interested in looking at these. There's all different sizes. This is not even, there's like, oh, anyway, okay. I'll stop being so excited. And then the other thing I used today was, look, is this not just an artist, like happy day right now? Look at those colors. Okay, so this is Soho's brand, which is, I think it's Jerry's Artorama brand. And I thought I would give them a try because this whole set was only like $39 or something. Excuse me, I'm still trying to get over my cold. And I purchased Senlier's soft pastels, and they're very expensive. And so I thought I'd give these a try and see if they were comparable. And my gosh, you guys, they are. They are just as soft and maybe not as soft and creamy as Senlier's or Senil. I don't know how you say it, but let me grab. So this is Soho's. And this Senlier. I mean to tell you, it's really close. I wish I could find a color that was. Okay, so let me. Okay, so they're not quite as pigmented as Senlier, but they're so soft. They feel like them. So anyway, I thought I would share that with you in case you were looking for some, new fun shiny things for your stash. I'm really trying. My word for this year is discover, and I'm really trying hard to get out of my box and use different supplies and different things that would challenge me to grow in different ways. And so one of those things is chalk pastels and like those brushes and different things like that. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you in case you wanted to check them out. Okay, so back to this. It says, give your burdens wings and let them fly away. I wish it was that simple. It's not that simple, but this is where we start in that process of letting go. And so every day I start my day with some type of reading, and I have about 1 million of these quote books and different things like that. And I'll list a couple of my favorites, because everyone asks me where I get my quotes from and stuff like that. And I'll list a couple of my favorites that I go to all the time. But as I open, and I don't ever like pay attention to the dates, I just kind of open it and I say a little prayer, open it, and see what is for me for the day. And so this said, give your stress wings and let it fly away. But I had written previously, pressure or tension or tightness or anxiety or nervousness, burden or worry. And of course those all go together. They're all similar or synonyms. And I obviously was feeling all of those things on the day that I read this in the past. And so I used burdens because I relate to that more. Burdens feel more real to me than just, say, stress. But it's not as simple as just saying, okay, I'm going to let it go. There's work to be done in that process of letting go of our burdens. But there is a place to start, and that is in working on saying whatever it is, our stress, our tension, our worry, whatever the things are that are causing us that tightness. that pressure, that anxiety, those burdens, whatever it is, there's a place that we start. And sometimes I have physically like written them down and crumpled them up or burned them. And this is kind of a visual for me to see them floating away. And if we can start in that process of writing those things down and then relinquishing them and throwing them away or whatever, crossing them out, something physical to really let go of whatever it is that's holding us back, that is the place where we begin to fly. And it is a daily thing. I know it is for me. And everybody's got different personality types. And for me, I am a worrier. I am all of those things that I wrote down are the things that I deal with daily. And I've learned how to deal with them in this type of process where I let them go. And for me, my practice is I will say a prayer and visualize them going away, or I'll cross them out, or any of those physical things that I talked about. And it can be however it is for you. It could be meditation or lighting a candle or yoga or all kinds of things where we can get to this place where we can have this visual of releasing some of those things that come our way, that stop us in our tracks, that are hard, that are keeping us from where we want to go. And so I wanted to share that with you because it meant so much to me back then that I wrote stuff down, and it stopped me again today because so many times all of our lives are so busy and there's so many things on different levels that we have to deal with daily that keep us stuck to the ground and not flying towards our dreams and not working in the direction that we want to go, or that keep us bound in unforgiveness and hurt and all of those things that really hold us tight and never let us be free. And so I want you to be free today, and I want your burdens to fly away. So loves, today, make a practice. Even if it's just for today, start somewhere. It doesn't have to be every day. That's something that you can get to eventually. But do one thing right now to, if you're feeling that tightness, that heaviness, that all those burdens, worry, stress, do one thing today to help you send them away. Give them some wings visually. Maybe you create it. And that's your way of sending them away. Maybe it's a prayer or whatever it is. I hope you have some rest today. I hope that you're in a place of peace and can really, really get some time to yourself and love on yourself. And I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.